Hello everyone, welcome to Cageless Readings, or back to the channel if you've been here before. So today's pick a card. I'm going to keep it kind of simple. We're going to be doing a self-care, self-love reading, and I just really wanted this to be very light and very loving feeling and feeling very safe and validating. So I intentionally didn't choose any card decks that can kind of have some harsh double meanings to them. So what do I mean by that? Usually I'll use like archetypes or my surrender card deck, and they can just say some really pointed things, and I was just not feeling like that today. So I used Whispers of Love, which is usually really gentle messages, and I used an Angel Oracle card deck and an Empath's guidance deck. So everything's very like gentle messaging. So if you've been feeling like you just can't take any more harshness, this reading is for you. Okay, so I do have a little bit of a routine I like to do. I like to clear you all and the area in the reading with a little bit of sound before we get started. I just really want to get you grounded and as most connected to yourself and your inner guidance as possible. So that is why I do that. You don't have to listen to this. You can always just take a couple deep breaths or put your feet flat on the ground, close your eyes, and just really connect in with your feet against the floor and visualize some roots growing down deep into the earth and really feel rooted and magnetic to the ground again. This is just to also help you retain information you hear. So if you've been feeling really ungrounded, you've been just having a hard time hearing information and having it stick in your head, or remembering conversations, or just even remembering what you were just about to do, it's usually a sign that we're not grounded. All grounding really does is keep us magnetic, I like to say magnetic to the ground, to the earth, and in our physical bodies, so that we can take information in and bring it all the way through and not just kind of have it floating around our head and then kind of slipping away. So anyways, I'll do this now. And it usually just takes a couple of minutes here. All right, so let's get into your pile selection here. Pile 1, we have Spirit of the Tree, Nature, Priestess, Inner Peace. And then up here it says, if you're in need of a lesson, there is wisdom in the trees. This feels very Pocahontas-y with the tree with the face on it. Okay, and then pile 2, you have Dark Night of the Soul. Sorry, sometimes it doesn't like to focus on things. And it says Dark Night of the Soul, Transformation, Awakening, and Tower. And in the book here it says she dug until she, oh sorry, what does that say? She dug caverns in her heart until she found the light. There we go. I was reading it in the wrong order. Okay, and then pile 3. We have number 10 here, and it says, it's okay to forget and then remember all over again. And then it says the voyager, return home, lessons, realizations. Nice. All right, so I'll give you a few more minutes and then I'll see you all in your card readings. Hello, pile 1. So you all chose the Spirit of the Tree as your pile selection. And I'll just pull the cards out and we will get more into your card reading. So this one says the Moon, duality, hidden gem, secret power. And it says, what if your strangeness is actually your brilliance? And it has a question mark. So it's saying, what if you wonder that question? Maybe it's true. Okay, and then we have some oracle cards here. Teaching and learning. Victory. Oops, they're very slidey today. We have comfort. We have claircognizance. Sorry, I don't know why. My camera's having a hard time knowing what to focus on here. We have outdoors. And we also have prioritize. These over here. And then we also have look to your inner strength and spend quality time together, as well as turn on your heart light. That's from the Whispers of Love. And then lastly, from the Empath's Oracle card deck, we have identify your triggers. We have assert your authentic needs. Energize yourself with earthing. And we have practice humility. Whenever I see this assert your authentic needs, I always feel like there is a miscommunication. As you can see, it's like the classic telephone imagery when you're a kid. I don't know, maybe it wasn't done everywhere, but there was always like these activities we did when we were in, I don't know, I think it was like the elementary school grades, where they were trying to teach you that people's perceptions and hearing can greatly alter, and often you wouldn't get the same word when you like played the game telephone. And I don't know if everyone played that. I guess it depends what age range you are. If you're under about maybe like 28, I don't know if you would have still played that game in school. But basically it was just like you would have to whisper in someone's ear a sentence, and then often it wouldn't be the same sentence or even the same word once it went around. And sometimes because people intentionally changed it because they felt like being a shit disturber, and other times people just misheard the word and said something different. So it's just like an example of like how easily we miscommunicate person to person. So anyways, why am I even talking about this? About assert your authentic needs? It usually means that although what you need might seem obvious, the other person you're in relationship with, or your friends, or your boss is just not seeing it as such an obvious thing. So it usually means that you could like really use a day off, or you could really use some time to yourself, or you could use like your partner like taking over a responsibility, and you feel like it's so obvious that you could use their help and that you could use more time to yourself, but you haven't really communicated it or directly communicated it. You might have just been like, well, when I said this, isn't it obvious I meant that? That's usually why I get this card coming up. It's usually just like, what is obvious to you is not obvious to others, and what you're needing and wanting from others is not actually clear to them. So it's really calling for, it says, use a confident, kind tone and speak your needs rather than hiding them. Empower yourself by being authentic. So it's saying, like, I even see this as like it helps your relationships in general, because it usually, if you're not getting your needs met and it feels really obvious to you that is an area that you need help with or you're needing more support in, it usually causes friction in that relationship because you feel like they're just not helping you out or supporting you or honoring your energy, and just speaking directly and clearly about what you need and what you need from them and what they can do, just gets rid of that weird friction in that dynamic. So interesting. I feel like that one was a really strong message. He pulled that card and it was very clear, to me what it was trying to say. But I want to go back to over here. So the cards you chose your pile with: the Spirit of the Tree, Nature, Priestess, Inner Peace. And if you're in need of a lesson, there is Wisdom in the Trees. And it kind of chose two cards because I never really like getting someone to choose what they need for self-care or a message around self-care. That's only one, because I feel like I can't fit everything I need into one card, so why would it make you guys? So here it says the Moon, duality, hidden gem, secret power. What if your strangeness is actually your brilliance? So this is interesting. When I saw these cards come up for the selection pile, like the top cards for what this pile was going to be about, it kept making me feel like I did a pick a card reading about why don't you fit in, and it was just centered around like you're a bit different than other people, but what if it's a gift to not be of the mob mentality, or to be someone who, like, how am I putting it? Like, I feel like usually when I see this, it makes me think of people who know their value and their morals. Like, they know how they feel about things, and if someone else is saying it's cool to believe in, I don't know. The example I'm thinking of is like throwing rocks at like a squirrel is fun. I feel like you would be like, it's not fun. It doesn't matter if there's a group of 20 people doing it and I'm the only one not doing it. It's still not fun to throw rocks at a squirrel. I feel like that's the kind of mentality where it's like you might have not have fit in with the larger group, but the energy I'm getting from it is like, well, why would you want to fit into that larger group? Why wouldn't you want to be this divergent free thinking person that you are? And maybe that makes you strange to other people, but what if that is your greatest power? What if that is like what helps you be an inspiration of change? So that's what I keep thinking about. And I also feel like when I see this card here, there's a lot about talking about if you don't feel like you fit in with your current surroundings, like your current people, like, what am I trying to say? Like, maybe you're someone who's very spiritually open, but you don't have a lot of friends that are. Right now, I should say, at the current moment, you don't have a lot of people who understand you, who speak freely about the spiritual world or the things you're passionate about. And I feel like for this pile, I feel like you might be someone who's like, oh, I see like the fairies over there, or oh, like that tree's talking to me. And it's like, if you're not, like, that can seem really crazy to some people, right? Like, that's quite a niche group that understand that. Okay, sorry about that. My camera battery died already. I've been away for a week and I noticed my batteries will say fully charged and then it's like they've lost a bit of charge over not being used for a week. I don't know. They're not great batteries, but I might have to do it again. Anyways, so I kind of lost track of what I was talking about, but nature, priestess, inner peace. If you are in the need of a lesson, there is wisdom in the trees. Okay, yeah, that's right. I was talking a little bit about how maybe you're someone who is still looking for their tribe, and you might wish you could speak more openly about the things you see. I really feel like this pile is like really connected to nature spirits. Like, do you think it is like seeing fairies or seeing like little elves, I want to say, or what else would there be? I don't know, just like tons of different interesting like nature spirits and maybe elementals and things like that. And the messaging here, the suggestion here, is it's saying, um, it's so interesting. I just want to make sure I get this clear. I think there's a few different suggestions it's going to have for you. So this isn't the only one. But I actually feel like it's encouraging you to take time. Like, I can't stop looking at this little picnic blanket here. There's like a little picnic blanket book and basket, and there's like a little, I don't know what it is. I think it's a black spider on the little picnic blanket. But it's interesting because I almost see it's like going in and like just if you, there's a park nearby that you can like lounge under a tree and do like a little meditation or just connect in, like connect into the earth. Feel your feet bare on the grass, feel your hands on the ground, and just connect in with the earth and ask if there's any wisdom it has for you to share with you. Or it's, I don't know, it's so interesting. I just feel like you're so connected to the earth elements that I almost even feel like it recharges you. It's not even just like you like them, it's just, it's, oh, I feel like if you're feeling depleted, you feel more energized, more grounded, more rooted in yourself, stronger in your vision. And I just feel like doing that element will help you find other people also drawn to that frequency. And I think that's what it is. It's almost like the more you're grounded and connected in, then the more you're going to be on that frequency. And then you'll start to find other people on that same frequency. So it's really neat. I feel like this pile might struggle with being ungrounded, actually. And I think it comes from not feeling like you fit in and feeling like you just don't understand people. And I feel like of all the examples that come to my mind about the mob mentality, throwing like rocks at an animal, like I was like, this is the example that keeps coming on my mind. So you feel like you've seen some harshness or some like things you don't understand about people and like why they would even do things like that. Why would they like try to hurt an animal or a defenseless thing, or why do they cut down all these trees? I feel like it just feels a little injuring to your soul and to your heart, that I feel like you're just like, oh, I don't always know if I want to be here. So I feel like you kind of are a little ungrounded, which causes a lot of havoc in our lives too. Like when you're grounded and rooted in your body, I find those people are less likely to get sick, less likely to have like weird attachments. They have less fear in general. That's really the difference. It's like, it's so interesting because I did a meditation around the root chakra, and it really showed me like if you're not grounded, you're way more susceptible to anxiety and fear. It's almost like you're not rooted. You don't have a foundation. You're not grounded in your body, and there's just room for fear to come in. It's so interesting. I'd actually really recommend that if you do this like nature meditation, ask the tree for wisdom about what grounded feels like, and then ask for an example of what ungrounded feels like. And it's so fascinating, and anyone can do this. It's just setting an intention and going into meditation. And to me, that really cemented the importance. I already knew grounding was important because I have seen just like the almost like ADD side of people comes out extremely when you're ungrounded. You can't stay focused on one thing. You don't retain information. Those are like the big ones that I notice. Fear and anxiety are also a big one. Always being anxious about something, and it's like they get a little ungrounded, and then they get more anxious and more anxious, and then they're like, why would I want to be grounded? There's just so much anxiety in this body now, and it's just so crazy how, like, if a tree isn't rooted, it's not gonna stay standing up very good. Like, it just makes sense that being grounded is so important for our health. But we seem to forget that. I think there's also such a big like everyone's, big importance on the crown chakra or the third eye, always being open, always being, like more and more developed, almost to the point of being overactive. And that's not for everyone. It's just like when I see some focuses, I'm like, no one ever talks about balancing it. There's only activating, like like powerfully amping it up, but I usually don't see balancing all your chakras. Balancing your third eye with your root chakra. Like, I would love to see more stuff like that, because it's if there's a lot of disharmony in people's bodies, the first thing that usually is affected is the root. And then once the root is affected, I notice like weird havoc kind of happens in the other chakras in the rest of the body system. So I mean, root usually is the root of the problem, quite literally. So anyways, that's a little rant there about why it is important to be grounded and how to achieve like higher ascension or greater consciousness, you need to be equally open of crown and connected to your root chakra, because all that wisdom you're trying to gain and attain won't serve you if you can't bring it into your body or retain it. So it's just really important. And then, interesting enough, lots of solar plexus stuff going on here for this pile. Funny enough, also some throat and some crown. So I don't know, maybe this is me. I wonder if you have been specifically in this pile. Sometimes I just start using things as examples and then I don't realize that maybe I'm actually using examples that you've been using in your life. Maybe some of you have been doing all those guided meditations around developing the third eye, activating the crown, and going back and forth. Like I said, it is awesome, but we need to put more importance on that root chakra, because what I'm seeing here is if there's solar plexus issues, that's where anxiety forms in our energy system or energy bodies. And such a big connector is if the root is out of balance or not connected specifically, we see a lot of anxiety happening in the solar plexus. Also, another messaging that usually comes around that is meaning trying to do everything on our own and burning out. Trying to be the light for everybody, which is definitely something I'm seeing here. Trying to like do as much as you can, be as bright, bring as much light and love, trying to do all that you can by yourself. That is what I'm seeing. So no wonder this really important message for all of you, because I know a lot of people only watch about 10 minutes of pick a card readings and then they flip to another, or at least with mine. I shouldn't say that for all, but statistically most people only watch 10 minutes. So sometimes I find they'll talk about a card that I wouldn't normally talk about until the end, just to be like, all right, if you're only going to hear 10 minutes, this is an important thing to hear for it. So I think this is why this one came through, about clearly stating your needs. It's also one of the most common cards around self-care, and for people who are empathetic, people who associate with the light worker, with someone trying to just be a good person. Maybe that's more the words you'd use. Such a big thing that comes up is needing to voice your needs, because you are super attuned with what people need. You're super attuned with like other people's emotions and what's going on, and reading people and reading people's energy. Other people aren't always as good at it as you are, or as, I don't want to say over analyzing of it, but I almost have realized that a lot of people do like analyze people, analyze them, and like, oh, they're a little tired. Why are they a little tired? And then you kind of observe for more things. You ask questions, you get more information, and then you get to the root, and it turns out this person is really tired. They've had a really stressful week. They haven't slept much. Their boss has asked a lot of them. Their kids have been crying. They haven't been sleeping. Like, whatever it is, you feel like you are someone who naturally notices that and asks more questions, where people aren't asking you those questions. Or if they do, they kind of just leave it at, oh, you're tired. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, that's it. That's all they ask. Because they're not, I don't know, they're just not as attuned to it. They're just different. They're just made different. That's the best way to explain it. So I really, really do have to say, it's not that they're inconsiderate. They're just like more unaware of things, of other people than you are. And it's just even part of maybe their their gifting in life. Because if all of us always worried about how everyone was feeling, and I'm sure you've all been in groups where this has happened, where no one makes a decision because everyone genuinely doesn't care and everyone just wants to do what everyone else wants to do and whatever would make everyone else happy. And it's just like, all right, we need someone to have an opinion and care and be not so hyper aware of everyone else's emotions and just say, I would love to do this. And then the group is like, oh, awesome. He'd love to do that. I was really neutral about all of them. And I would love to do what the group wants to do. Like, it's so funny. I find myself in those groups more and more often now that I'm in the Reiki and card reading community, because it seems like a lot of people are more like you guys are, this pile. Really just are very kind, want to just do and be happy and help other people be happy, and are more of other people first than themselves. And I know that is a habit that this card reading is talking about breaking for you. It is just a common thing I find in any kind of healing modality. So yeah, I can't remember why I was rambling about that, but anyways, we were talking about you needing to ask for more help. So other advice cards here. Spend quality time together. I'm like, I always like to check in. Is this romantic partnership or is it just friendships? Look to your inner strength. Turn on your heart light. Okay, yeah, I know this is a very romantic card, but I actually get for the majority energy choosing this pile that I don't think this is specific about your romantic relationships. It feels more like just your relationships in general, like friends, maybe it's coworkers. Some of you, and this is not going to be all of you, some of you have like good family relationships, but you just haven't had time to spend with them. But that won't be the majority energy. That's just like a few of you. Most of you, I feel like, don't have great family, that like parents and sibling relationships. But there are a few of you here where family is actually your support system. But for most part, this is talking about friendships. So let's just go with that. It's talking, like when I see turn on your heart light, it's like saying allow time for these relationships and allow yourself to be there. What does that mean? I mean, be present, be open, explain how you've been feeling, talk about what's been going on. Like, it's so funny, but like almost unburden yourself. Like, I feel like it doesn't mean you're putting that on them. Like, as you probably all know, there's a difference between dropping your shit on someone and taking no accountability for it and just expressing what you're going through. And I feel like that's something you don't always do because you're worried about putting shit on people, but it's not that. It's like you're just being seen and held space for, like you are helping and holding space for other people. It's so funny. It's like I can see all these scenarios in my mind about like differences. So it's like, example, if someone, you're not going to your friends and saying like, my week sucked, everyone is being mean to me and they're bullying me and they call me names and I can't do anything about it and I can't quit my job because I kind of want to keep this job, but they're all mean to me. And I don't know, it's like you kind of like there's an excuse for why you can't take action to get out of the situation, but then you keep saying what how horrible it is and you don't know what to do about it, and you're asking them what you should do about it and what they think about this, or what do they think about when someone said this thing to you and wasn't that really mean. It's like it's different than saying like, I've had a hard week. I was really struggling with the manager here, but I think I'm going to set some boundaries or I'm going to have a discussion, and if it doesn't go out, then I think I'm going to have to quit this job, and I'm just a little bit stressed about that because I don't want to be treated like this and I want a different job. Like, I don't know if that's conveying the energy quite right, but it's just like, instead of being like, I can't do anything about it, oh, but I could quit my job, but I actually don't want to, but everything sucks here. And I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just like such a different vibe to like, I just don't think this pile naturally is going to be the pile who's like stuck in disempowerment and victimhood and like, because everything here is saying you're very independent. And although maybe you take on too much, I don't think you see yourself as someone who can't get yourself out of a situation. I feel like you are empowered. That's the difference. You're empowered. You may not like something that's happened, but you will figure out a solution. You will either leave that job or you will set a boundary. And if that boundary gets broken again, then I feel like hopefully you'll take a different action. And I don't know, I just feel very confident in you, but I feel like the only thing I would suggest is just sharing more of what you're going through with your friends and just letting them in. Just letting them in to be there and hold space and just even say like, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that's been so hard. Like, I feel like you just need someone to do that for you sometimes. Yeah, and you know what's so crazy too? So this picture here, which I don't know why I felt so quite excited to put it in the card reading. This was I was like, oh, I should give more information about this. Okay. So anyways, the thing I was mainly wanting to focus on was the whale, which to me symbolizes communication and connection and letting people be a part of your family, like letting people in, letting them support you, being there for them. And it's not one-sided. You can't just support people and not let them support you back, or let people be vulnerable with you but not be vulnerable back. So it's almost like turn on your heart light. It's almost saying like you're able to be compassionate for others, but you're not letting them get to know you or the vulnerability of you. So it's almost like people are longing to know you deeper, but you aren't quite letting your heart light shine or be open, letting your heart be open. Yeah, this was a painting that my boyfriend bought because he really likes whales and sees them a lot in his practice. And this was a channeled painting from an artist who lives in Quebec named Jeanne. Yeah, and she's really cool. We met her at a Montreal retreat we were at. And yeah, I don't know, I just wanted it in there. But yeah, she had some really cool art, and she does this cool stuff where it's like, it looks just like some image, but then you look closer and there's like a little scene here of like a forest or like a lake or a prairie, and she just had that in most of her art, which was really neat. And you almost is like that art where you have to look a couple of times to see all the little images in it. But the whale obviously is the one that really stood out to my boyfriend. So we have it. We just recently got back from Montreal, and that's why I saw it and I thought I'd put it here. So we even have a theme of communication, connection, and letting people in as our theme. Sorry. So here I want to also talk about this. Look to your inner strength. I always find this card so fascinating because whenever I see rainbows, it tells me so much about healing and deep healing. Like I always see it as like healing throughout all your chakra system. So wherever you've held a certain belief or a certain wound, like clearing it out of your whole body, releasing it from like your life. And whenever I also see this little person in a bubble, I always feel like it's like healing your own inner child and realizing that you're not that wounded child anymore, and that you can let people in, or whatever issue you're struggling with, and just like parenting that. So I always feel a little bit bad when I feel like I'm repeating a lot of the same messages in a lot of my card readings. There's like 112 videos now, so I'm sure some of you, if you've watched my other videos, have almost heard me say the exact same thing for these cards, but they come out so often, so it just tells me like a lot of people need to know this, and even maybe need the reminder. So maybe you watched this like even a year ago on the channel, and now you just need a reminder again that you can work with your inner child. It needs love and healing, and a reminder that you are a different person and you set boundaries and you're very independent. Like, you really can't say that enough about this pile. Like, you're extremely independent to the point where the universe is telling you, ask for more help. You're like, that just means whatever hardship you've come from, there is no worries here about you not being someone who will empower themselves and find a solution through it. And that is like a really big deal. There's not everyone who will come through a hardship and come out stronger or overcome it even. Some people submit to it and become that identity that becomes their everything. And you are not that. You have really really been, I even feel like you, even as you had gone through challenges in your life, are like, I won't let this be the thing that breaks me. I won't let this change who I am. I won't let this, I don't know, I almost want to say like tarnish like how I want to see the world. Like I just think this is a very beautiful pile. And you just, yeah, could just use a little more support and letting people in. But I really think that just comes from some like healing of of past relationship wounds, because we don't turn off our heart for receiving for no reason. It usually means we got hurt a few times, or we felt shamed about who we are, and we felt like that was our only thing we could do. So let's read some of these cards here. We haven't actually done that. So here it says claircognizance. So this is all about pay attention to your thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. So this would be like, just if you've been feeling like you just know to do something, trust that. Like there really is a lot of guidance and higher guidance coming through to you about following those. So if you're like, I feel like I need to go outside more. And actually, if we look at this, when I was talking about going outside, you actually have an outside card, which talks about going outside, get some fresh air, connect with nature, and relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. So if you just are still not sure if really going outside does much for you, this is really saying it's really, really big for you. It really recharges you. I mean, this card said it. It says that you get recharged by connecting with the earth, with the nature around you. This one does. This earthing and grounding yourself literally talks about putting bare skin on the earth. So dirt, grass, trees, plants, touching it, connecting to it helps you be more grounded. And if you aren't able to just like that get used to letting people in, nature is a great first way to do it, right? We don't feel as bad receiving from nature, connecting to nature, and then maybe we'll get you to a point where you feel safe to connect with other people and feel that they're safe. Like it's just taking steps, baby steps. So the first suggestion to you is to just connect with the earth. And like I was saying, like I really see you picnicking with bare feet touching the grass and your hands. I don't know, I can see you with like a small blanket, so like maybe like the back of your shirt or your hair doesn't like get dirty. But then otherwise the rest of you is like touching the ground. And I don't know, it's like I can really see the image of just like a big tree with leaves giving you some shade and just you connecting and meditating or connecting with the earth around you. And I just even feel like that will like here it's talking about growing your third eye and like your crown chakra opening more, but I feel like doing that will actually help you receive more messages than anything, because you'll just be so grounded and so connected that it'll just come to you. And I think if it's saying claircognizance, it is probably saying that if you keep thinking, oh, I'm not seeing things, I'm not like, I need to open my third eye more, it's just saying like your deep body knowing is your strongest clairvoyant or sorry. And clairvoyance is maybe one of those ones for you where it will take some practice. And I've even noticed when I've talked to other people, like if you're not a good visualizer, it might just mean like in your childhood you didn't really practice that. Like I think about myself and like I always was picturing like imaginary friends into my outer reality. Like my stuffed animals, I would have them like when I was riding the bus to school, I would picture my stuffed animals like running beside the bus and like hopping on like buildings and like playing a video game, and then I would like picture all these other animals joining in. So it's like literally I exercised my visualization. And then I like drawing a lot. I did a lot of visual things. So it makes sense for me that my visual clairvoyance is very strong because I literally used it when I was a kid. I just used it in a different way than what most people would think. And I've heard other people say the same thing. Like they're very visual, but they did similar things. They were really into like visualizing fake worlds and writing little stories about it, or just anything like that. Anytime where you were a kid and you just allowed your imagination, most people imagination use visual images. So when people are like, I don't know how to work on that, I actually just tell them like, maybe try like drawing, like if you were trying to like draw like perfectly each like line that this person did, or like of an animal or something, that even teaches you to look at every little detail. And I feel like that even helps with visualization. But if you're not caring about literally seeing things, like just go with your clairvoyant that is strong. Like claircognizance, I actually still think that is the easiest clair for me, because I can see things, but then I get a deep knowing with them. And if I didn't get the deep knowing, the image would be confusing. It'd be like a still image where anything I put on it or project on it would be my opinion. So I love the claircognizance because you have just a deep knowing what's going on without it. The one downside I find though is that I'll get a huge concept I understand and like is given to me, but then I don't always know how to start and break down that explanation to you all or to the people watching or listening, right? Because it's like I just have such a deep knowing and I have to use English words, which I feel like just can't convey the meaning of everything that I've just been given in knowledge. So that is my greatest struggle, and I feel like you might be someone who equally maybe struggle with that, because if you just know so deeply, it's hard to be like, all right, you don't know anything about what I'm feeling, so I have to start from the very start and try to convey it. And even then I find people will get different pulls from it, and I'm like, not really what I meant, but okay. Yeah. Anyways, so I feel like trust that that's a great power, and that not seeing things, although maybe it's just fun to see things, the knowing what's going on in that seeing is actually really, really powerful. Keep using that word, but it really is, because then you actually know, like I said, what's going on, and it won't be like whatever your opinion is. Because if you even think about like art, like whatever I say about this is going to be my opinion, because it's just a still image. I don't actually know totally what's going on or what the artist intended. But if I tune in to the energy, I will get so much more information about what she intended. Yeah, which funny enough, I want to say discovery, but I'll have to ask her. I'll have to ask her which her she intended for that. So anyways, this was a long rant, and I hope you're getting the idea of what I'm trying to convey. Victory, Archangel Sandalphone, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. So I love Archangel Sandalphone because for me, I know everyone is a little bit different. He is the archangel who communicates through music. And I know there's a few people who find different angels do that, but for me, it's him. So, and you're getting card reading from me, so it's gonna be my version that you're getting. So even in here, he has a trumpet in his hand, and he's blowing it. And then I always find it interesting. He has like little herbs here. So I just feel like whenever I see that card, it means if you just hear music that just hits home, or it's just a song that you're really feeling, you usually feel like that's him coming in and kind of like guiding the information or the words that suddenly just stick out so badly in the song to you. Yeah, so interesting. And I even like the wildflower thing. I feel like there's a message here around wildflowers. Maybe it's because they're strong and they're beautiful and they grow in the harshest situations, and you would have no idea because they just are such strong plants. I don't know. Oh, that's Steve meowing over there. Okay, teaching and learning. We have keep an open mind and learn new ideas, then teach these ideas to others. So interesting. I think this is just a confirmation about how you shine light in the world, how you bring light to the world. I think you're already doing this. It's almost like when I was saying like you're not of the mob mentality, you have like these strong morals and values. And I feel like you probably are someone who likes to learn a lot about maybe why people do the things they do, or about people's like hardships in life and how they chose to like not always overcome it, but just even like how they chose to respond and continue your life from there. And I almost feel like I don't know, like you have a unique way of observing things, and I don't totally know for sure, but I would wonder if this pile is a little less judgy than most. Like I wonder if you truly just you hear people out and you just find it very fascinating. there's no judgment. There's just like, wow, that's really neat. That's really neat that. Sorry, this time it wasn't my battery. My camera just taps out at 29 minutes, which means this card reading is getting very long. So sorry, and thank you for sticking through so long. But anyways, where I just seen that I got cut off was around just, yeah, you just having very fascinating outlook on people and coming from more of a place of neutrality versus judgment. And I feel like part of your light in this world is helping other people see the neutrality to come from. So an example would be if a coworker was just really upset with the way a manager was managing and maybe the lack of softness in the way they manage, and they're very direct and they're very blunt. Maybe your ability to say, oh, well, they come from a background of military parents and they were always very strict with them, and that's just the way they are because they never really experienced that softness. They always came from like a very like blunt and straightforward way of communicating, and even like just drawing light to that, I feel like can change other people's perspective because they've never saw that person as anything other than like their mean boss, their uncompassionate, unconsiderate boss or something. And then it's almost like you put a light on it. I was like, oh, actually, they never experienced softness in communication. It's just like small things like that where maybe you don't even realize like that is like part of your gifting or part of the light you bring. But I feel like you do that in a lot of situations. You open people's minds and take them out of their judgment and put them more into neutrality as well. And it doesn't mean they're going to like it, but it does just bring more understanding, and they don't take it so personally because right now they might feel targeted or victimized by or something by their boss, but instead they're like, oh, it's just how they are in the world. It's not they're just mean to me or something like that. So anyways, for some guidance cards, we already have talked about this quite a bit about you're energizing yourself through earthing. So it says walk barefoot or stretch out on the grass, put your hands in the soil or hold a stone, let the earth restore your strength and ground you. Definitely huge messaging. So probably don't need to reiterate it again, but just spending time outside, and I would say meditating and connecting in with the earth, I think will make you feel safe and recharge you. Okay, and I'll also get you grounding in the body, which I feel like this pile is really needing to help with any anxiety issues you might be having. So practice humility, approach life humbly. No one is better than another. Keep your ego in check. Humility is the practice of being simple and valuing simple things. That's really interesting. And I really like that it's like this person is honoring and bowing to the horse. Because I don't know about you, but I recently was like looking at some horses and they like, I kept thinking that it's like they like bow their heads, and I feel like it's just like a respect. Like cats like will blink slowly a lot if they're like telling you they like are okay with you being there. I felt like horses like bow to you to like show you they're okay with you being there. So I just thought that's really interesting. Yeah, I feel like it talks so much about respect to me, and just remembering to respect others and come from that place of neutrality, not allowing people to treat you in a way you don't want to be treated, but also just coming from like the understanding that that they just might not know differently, and you might have been treated differently. Yeah. Anyways, next card here is identify your emotional triggers. We absorb the emotions of others that remain unhealed in ourselves. Notice your triggers, such as anger and fear, and gently begin to heal them. So this one seems big, and I wonder if the communication thing is something that actually is maybe happening with you sometimes. It's where maybe the harshness or the bluntness in people's communication is affecting you more than what you would like. And when this card's coming through, it's saying it's probably like an inner child being triggered. So maybe it reminds you of the way like a certain person in your life treated you, or I feel like this pile did struggle with bullying. And maybe I don't think it was physical bullying. I think it feel more like verbal bullying, like being outcasted verbally, always not fitting in. Yeah, I don't know. If you feel called to it, maybe you want to watch that video about why don't you fit in, or Why are they bullying you? Because I looked more into past energies there. And a lot of it was basically people who were just very much like this pile, who were just not of the mob mentality, who didn't compromise what they believed in to fit in. They just couldn't. It just like it would sicken you, it would make you feel so gross. You couldn't do that. So yeah, I don't know if you feel called to it. Those are a couple card readings that you might be interested in. I do want to read from the guidebook. Let's say, I don't know. It's so funny. I was going to ask you. I was like, do you guys want me to read the message for number 12 or number 4? And then I was like, oh, yeah, you guys can't answer. I keep forgetting that. It's a YouTube card reading. Okay. I've been thinking about in-person things lately, so it's so funny. It feels like a habit. So you know what? Why don't we... I feel like it's split. I feel like some of you are like 12. We chose 12. It's called to 12. But some of you are like, why wasn't number 4? Like this is 4. This one says 12. Why wasn't 4 the pile selection card? It's drawing me way more than the 12. So I don't know. We'll read them both. So I'll just read the affirmation for 12. The card you chose. It says, I am tuning into stillness, peace, and ancient wisdom. And then the blurbs are actually quite long. And I feel like when I read a really long thing, I lose people here. So we'll just read the manifestation enhancer, which is kind of like the thing they say to bring in more of what you're wanting. So it says, sit or lie beside a tree spirit. Meditate beneath it and graciously ask for a vision or sight. Be patient. Thank it for the beauty and the precious oxygen it provides. Communicate with it. Touch it, feel and embody its energy. If you can have a picnic outdoors, taking a book, journal, or a drawing pad, bring that energy back with you into your life and bear fruit effortlessly. So basically it does just say what I was saying at the start about really feel strongly about this pile, getting outside and meditating outside, connecting intentionally to the energy of the earth outdoors. Just feels like a game changer for this pile. And then for the number 4 card, the moon, it says, the affirmation is, I am discovering magic treasure hidden within me. I'm discovering magic treasure hidden within me. And this was the card that says, what if your strangeness is actually your brilliance? And then its manifestation, enhancement, which is a little bit longer, says, connect and meditate with the moon about what your secret treasure is. The moon is a friend for the lonely and the misunderstood parts of ourselves. Practice accepting the quirky parts of you that you resist. When you do, they just may lead you to interesting places, lead you to create unique and fascinating things, lead you to feel more whole than you've ever felt. Almost nothing is more valuable than this. This is worth much more than the opinions of others. There's a cute little moon. Yeah, so I think I'm going to end it here. I feel like I've just been talking for so long, and I feel like this was more rambly than normal. Normally, I feel like I get kind of more into each messaging, why it's coming up, what to do about it, but maybe that's just the vibe. Maybe it's just a rambling vibe, and that's okay, because I feel like you just gotta trust what comes through is what's best for you. Wow, that rhymes. Okay, but I will clear the energy if you like to do that with the triangle. So I find I just like to do it in case, like, you know, usually emotions come up, something comes up, and just letting you just set any intention you want to release whatever is not serving you when I play it. And otherwise, I hope you all have a great day. I just so appreciate you who watch these videos and like or comment, because it really helps them get like way more views, and I so appreciate that. Makes it more worth it for me to keep making them, so thank you for doing that. And I'm gonna let you do your little clearing now. Hello, pile 2. So you all chose the dark night of the soul, and it said she dug caverns in her heart until she found the light. Transformation, awakening, and tower moments. Okay, and then also the other card here we have is the Seeker. All-seeing eye, spirit release. Could you surrender just a bit more? It's interesting that it's coming out of the third eye. Oops, sorry. And I'll just put them all out for you and then we'll discuss them. We have moon cycles. Wow, you know what? I actually use this deck a lot. I've never seen this card come out. So that's really cool. I love that. Moon cycles. Archangel Haniel, notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. Super cool. So drawn to the triangle shape that the birds are making and find that really interesting. To me, it feels like exactly what it's saying about notice when things are the most aligned and utilize that energy to manifest in what you're wanting. So interesting. If you are someone who has a menstruation cycle, I would work with that as well. I don't know why. I'm just like feeling like that's important. Like you really work with like the energy of that. And I even feel like when you're actually menstruating, like you really are releasing stuff. So it's interesting. I feel like for some of you, manifesting will be at its strongest if you're doing it while you're physically menstruating, or for some of you, you might find it the strongest after you've finished menstruating, after you've released anything out of your body that's not serving you, then calling in what you want. But it's interesting. I can feel like it depends on, it just depends on you. I feel like people are going to be drawn to different things. So anyways, you don't have to have a menstrual cycle to utilize the power of cycles and moon for manifestation, but that was just like a little underlining thing I feel like I had to share there. Sorry, I didn't read these. Divine order. We have what you now... Let me restart. You know what to do. There we go. Wow, I was making that really complicated. Maybe you've been making things really complicated, but you already know what to do. Gifts from God. So interesting. I already feel like this pile super resonates with the angelic realms. Like super, super resonates. You might talk about Archangel Michael all the time, or the angels help you with this, and guardian angels, and I don't know, all the angel terms. I feel like this pile just way resonates with it. We also have gentleness from Archangel Sandalphon. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surrender yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. And you might even be the pile where I was like really picking up the vibe of just needing very gentle, loving support energy right now, and not being in a place where you just like, I feel like this pile, you go through periods where maybe you're like, all right, tell me what I need to know and my blocks and what I need to work on. But I feel like right now you're just in like a, you know what, I'm a little tired of like working on things that are quote unquote wrong with me, and I just need some loving words and support. And I think this is kind of the vibe you're in. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I just says this pile, oh my gosh, you guys are getting all these cards I've never seen before. I always think that's so cool because when I pull cards for myself, for other people, it seemed to get very similar cards all the time. So I'm always like, I guess we all need the same messaging. But this pile is just like getting all the cards I haven't seen, which I love. So have patience. I've actually never pulled this card. No clue have patience was in the deck. And I'm also surprised I've never pulled this card. Seems like a common messaging. New love. Also have never gotten that one. And miracles and blessings. Also never gotten that one. Oh, I don't know why that's so exciting. It's just crazy because I am using decks other than this one here that I've used a lot, and even with people one-on-one. So I'm like, what? How have I? You must be new to the channel. This pile watching this or something, or you're going into a new energy because yeah, I seriously have never seen these, and I love it. Okay, we have reclaim your power. Oh, I definitely want to tell you the thing I was going to tell you. Practice self-soothing. That's a card actually that I see a lot. Meditate on the spontaneousness of air. Remember your gifts and listen to your wisdom of your intuition. Super cool. One I haven't seen is Reclaim Your Power. So yeah, you keep getting one card I have never seen. Super cool. Keep having just one extra card that doesn't quite fit very well, but I'll just put it up here. So the thing I wanted to talk about was the crystal quartz pyramid. And I'll grab it here because I know some people don't watch the intros. I feel like a lot of people don't. That's okay though. This is the quartz pyramid that I use. And just this morning, as I was starting to clear the energy for this card reading for YouTube, I got Archangel Metatron that came forward and said that he wanted to work to clear all the chakras with sacred geometry. And I was like, okay, that's nice. But I'm doing YouTube pick a card reading and I don't really know where that's going to fit in. And then the last pile, I just took this out to clear the energy. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? So I feel like I always still take a minute to clue into things sometimes. I'm only human. But I was like, oh my gosh, does it mean, like, do you want to work with the pyramid to help clear people's energy? Because I find that the pyramid works super well, but I always feel like I was missing something. And now I feel like I just feel like it's connected where Archangel Metatron. Sorry, Michael. Archangel Metatron literally works with geometric shapes and colors and circling energy and all that stuff that this pyramid already works with. So I am just going to, from now on, ask that he works through and with this pyramid every time I use it. So why did I want to mention this pile? Because I just feel like that might be something that resonates with you. So at the end, we will clear the energy with this pyramid, and since I think this pile is really into the angel realm, just know that Archangel Metatron is going to be assisting in that from now on anytime I use this pyramid. So yeah, the other thing, the Reclaim Your Power, I just kept seeing all these triangles. That's why I was like, oh, I really have to mention it. Saw the triangle there. I'm like, I really gotta mention this pyramid thing, because maybe this pile is like, maybe you've recently been bought one of these, because you can get like mini ones on Amazon that you could use, and I think they're pretty inexpensive if you get the small ones. The bigger ones do get more and more expensive for the moment. That can always change. The more they make them, then obviously the cheaper they can get. But anyways, yeah, maybe you're just really drawn to the sound. Maybe you did hear it in the intro and were like, I don't know why I love that. Maybe it's because you really love Archangel Metatron. I'm not sure. Okay, now let's get into your card reading. So it's so funny. I really want to start with these cards because I'm like, oh, I've never seen them before. So have patience. Love is patient and kind always. I so love this. The lotus flower and like the girl coming out of it and holding onto a flower. I think that's so great. And also the mountain lakes. I'm a huge mountain person, especially the kind of mountains where there's like natural falling rivers and stuff. To me, this is just such an awesome card. And then under the water, there's like a different land and it's lush with green and waters and houses. And I don't know, like this just feels like such a powerful card to me. All about almost like being rebirthed, coming into your, like the lotus flower. Like, I mean, there's so many different things, but like a white lotus is all about spiritual cleansing. Pink lotus, I feel like there's pink and yellow, and I can't totally remember if I'm getting this right, but I think the pink lotus is for clearing sexual trauma or like sexual energy trauma. So that could look like, say if you grew up in, it could just be regular society, honestly, but if you also grew up in a religious upbringing where, you know, like virginity was so important and not giving people the wrong impressions and slut shaming and all this stuff, like that already, there's such a big thing already in society. It doesn't even need to be a religious thing. It could just have been that you went to a Christian school or something like that. But I just feel like there's almost like this stepping into your power, and usually like energy, like sexual energy and energy are the same. Life force energy and sexual energy are the same energy. For some reason, we kind of twisted that, forgot it, and did weird things to it. But I feel like this is talking about you like coming into that and almost maybe being like empowered by your sexuality, by your sexual energy. And the other color though, I feel like it's so important, but I can't remember it. And it's so funny. it's I only know this because I like love reading different tinctures natural food stores. It's a really funny thing, but like I get weirdly excited about the weirdest things like tinctures. I think it's because it resonates with me so much. Like you can take pill forms of things, but like the boiled down reduced form of things, like you just take a little bit of something like that and it really has an impact on me. Oh, that's Steve again. He's coming to a lot of these card readings, yelling outside my door. My cat, if you can't hear him, I guess we'll see. He's yelling at me because he can hear me talking, and my boyfriend was upstairs but left, and now he doesn't understand why I'm in here by myself and he's out there. So anyways, you know what? Maybe I'll just Google it because I feel like it's so important, and maybe that seems super random to you, but you can get tinctures of different colors of lotus flowers, and maybe you've recently seen them. Maybe you're a weirdo like me and just love looking at different tinctures of herbal remedies in your spare time. Okay, lotus flower orange meaning. The orange lotus. Okay. Symbolizes spiritual awakening, enlightenment, and creativity, and is believed to represent the sun and its vibrant color. So I love that. My main thing I'm getting from here, though, is I almost feel like things coming into balance and flourishing, like birthing again from it. So I almost feel like it's almost like I would say like the masculine and feminine energy come like in their healthy forms, coming together and creating a new version of yourself. So this usually only happens once you've done a lot of work in your life. And I don't mean that you have to do work. I think you have. So we're speaking past tense. You've done a lot of accountability work, self-reflection, going deeper, inner child, limiting belief stuff. And I really see when it says have patient, love is patient, kind, and always. I feel like it's saying like the things you've been trying to call in, they are coming in. They are there. You've done so much work, and now I almost feel like it's just time to wait and let it find you. And it's like more than that though. It's almost like I feel like just enjoy the beauty around you too. Like this is just such a beautiful card. There's like stars. I mean, there's just everything I love in this card. So of course I think it's beautiful. And you know what? Let's even read from the guidebook from it. I mean, I've never seen it before, so let's see. It's number 17, and sometimes I just love the way the authors like verbally write the meaning of it because it's sometimes better than I can speak it. So it says, work on being more patient. If you lack patience with others, remember that they are human and different from you. If your impatience has to do with an outcome, know your prayers are being answered. Have a little more patience. You might be in a tense situation that is beyond your control. Be aware of the thoughts that precede any frustrations or anxious feelings. Pay attention to your self-talk. All things arrive in their perfect time. Try to distract yourself while you are waiting for things to come to fruition. So it's really, yeah, it's funny. I do see the same theme where it's saying distract yourself, but I feel like just enjoy. Like you don't even need to distract yourself. There is actually a lot of great things going on around you, beautiful things. And it feels like there's so much, like so many different things, right? Like here we're saying like the stars, and just like that makes me think of astrology, but then you have water over here, and then you got mountains, and then you have lush green valleys. Like there's so much. There's just so much going on. Engage in activity that will occupy your time. The time will magically pass. The time will magically pass. But you are otherwise engrossed. So basically, if you're enjoying everything in your present moment now, you won't even notice the time go by before these things that you've asked to come in come in. Lotus flower rise from still and muddy waters to prove grace and beauty can come from gloomy circumstances. Behind the girl, waterfalls flow into the body of water that she glides on. This may indicate an arrival from various points and not one singular event. Ooh, okay, I kind of love how they added that in there. Most card decks don't talk about the imagery, which is crazy because all about card reading is reading the imagery and the energy attached to it. So this is what I love, is it's almost saying like this person needs to be patient. So in this case, you, because you've planted, like, this is the classic thing, you've planted seeds everywhere, and now you just need time for all of them to collect and come together, and then it will bring in all these things that you've been wanting to bring in. But I do like that it's saying keep manifesting, because once you get what you've asked for, odds are by then you're going to have a whole nother list of growth and experiences you're going to want to call in. So it just talks about, I even think with the moon cycles, it makes me think how, I can't totally remember it. It's like, if it's the full moon or the new moon, like if you're trying to manifest something in, say, in an Aries sun, then I think it says in 6 months when the Aries moon is in, then it will come into fruition. That's the theory. So it's saying, like, whatever you manifest in, keep manifesting it in, because you'll get it in about 6 months. Or sooner or later. But yeah, it's just like, I like that as a general rule, because it actually makes me realize, like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. Like, I tried to manifest moving into Canmore, and I was like, oh, it's not happening. I thought it would like happen right away. And then I was like, oh, actually, if I look at it, it did happen within about 6 months of when I really tried to start manifesting it in. Not when I would always say, oh, I wish I could move there, but I didn't really feel like I was manifesting it. I just was saying I wish. Like, it wasn't even gonna happen. Like, maybe someday it could, but it just wasn't. But anyways, that doesn't really matter, because I feel like you're quite a great manifester and things are coming in. You just need to enjoy what's around you, because it needs time to trickle in and find its way to you. New love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospect or for spiritual growth. Interesting. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospect. It's so fascinating. So it's literally talking about embracing a new job, which I didn't expect from this card. Normally when you say new love, it's about a person, but this is really talking about letting in a work opportunity, or maybe you're going to start a new foundation or something like that. Let it come to you. Like, it's like funny. I feel like there's all these things coming in, and it's like, open your hands up and let it fall into place. You don't need to go and try to grab it and chase it. It's just going to fall right into your hands. Woo! And that is kind of going along with like this like really powerful manifestation stuff you've got going on here. And also, it's so interesting because hands seem to be a big thing here. And I notice that they're always open. They're not grabbing and snatching at it. They're just letting it fall into place. So that's probably why the patience card came in, because it's saying, like, if you want, like, if you're like, oh, I really want this to work in the best, most aligned way, it's like, okay, then don't grab and try to hang on to things that aren't going to work. Just open your hands and let it fall in. Does that make sense? I feel like that might be an analogy that resonates with this pile. Miracles and blessing, everything has its gifts. So yeah, I really feel like things are going to come in, and I can't, like, the first thing I noticed about both these cards is like how colorful the people are. Usually they're like dressed in solid clothing in this deck, and I feel like this is just talking about like how, I don't know, like just how much stuff you've got going on for you. It's like there's just so much healing you've done, so much work you've done. This person looks like a fairy to me, like a little fairy person, calling in something. But anyways, I don't know. It just, to me, it's just a validation that like you've really come a long way. You've really grown through your experiences, and that's super cool. Okay, reclaim your power, practice self-soothing. So this is just some guidance here. I guess this also was some guidance, but you don't need to do the work. Just enjoy your life and be open for it to fall in to place and not go out and have to do it. But if you're feeling like you need to do something to take more action, I would say, just like we were saying before, work on the manifestation. Keep manifesting things in, new things that you want, and then that way it will just keep coming in. Once you get the one thing, you'll have your next manifestation thing to work on, and go so on and so on. That's your action taking you can do, is working on manifestation. Yeah, divine order. The other thing I keep feeling like too is this pile really resonates with like God. It's like gifts from God, and I don't know how to explain it. Like, these cards don't say God, but I'm just like, oh, there's just such a like an angelic God connection here. So maybe you did come from a Christian upbringing after all, or a religious upbringing, and you still do hold a lot of value on God, but maybe you've just changed the group you're associating with for it. But yeah, a lot of guidance here just on trusting divine order. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see underlying order. So this is just telling me you feel like things aren't coming in and you know what to do. It's so funny. All these cards here are really saying, like, I keep asking, is it coming in? Is it coming in? This card is everything saying it is coming in, the patience thing, and it's not that it's trying to teach you patience. What I get from this is that it's actually just saying, like, you want it to come in the best way. That means you got, like, the other person it's going to come from, they need to be in their best way for it to come to you. And I'm sure there's going to be, it feels like there's more than one piece you're waiting to click. So you have to wait till everyone is in the right vibration, the higher vibration, to come to you. So I feel like this pal's like, oh, I'm always being taught patience, but it isn't. That's like, it could be your perspective on it, but actually it's more just like, if you want it to come in the best way, you got to give everyone else time to become their best version. And like, you needed time to become your best version, you got to give them time to become their best version, because otherwise you could get it now, but you don't want it that way. So to me, it's not really patience. It's more like you just set your standards higher. And so it's okay if it doesn't, like, we would just rather it be better than have the shitty version. So yeah, you're just waiting for everyone to be at the same vibration. So to me, I don't know. I guess I could see how people would say that's patience, but I just feel like that's just having better standards and waiting for other people to have better standards. Because yeah, we don't want to learn it the hard way. So yeah, everything here, basically most of your cards, I'm just skimming over them. It's just saying gifts from God are coming in. You know they are, you know what to do, trust your inner knowledge, act upon it without delay. Sorry, that's Steve again. Meowing a lot. All right, Steve will make a brief entry as he's been yelling a lot. Hey, buddy, you want to say hi on camera? Yeah, okay. Well, we don't want to waste their time, so we won't make it very long. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Is that enough time? Okay. We'll just make sure you mess up all the cards, eh? Okay. Sorry about that brief interruption. To continue on with this file, I actually want to change directions a little bit here and talk about a lot of these cards. So it says gentleness. Could you surrender just a little bit more? Transformation, dark night of the soul. So there's still this like underlining, although there's lots of great stuff coming in, there's like this underlining, like, I just feel like tiredness, feeling a bit wounded. I think you guys have been healing, and it's just saying like there's still a little bit more that you're surrendering and letting go of, but you're not in a phase anymore where you need to push yourself. You're really in a phase now where you're needing gentleness, self-soothing from yourself, and to surround yourself with people who are going to support you, have that same kind of gentleness for you, and not really be in a role of, for right now, I want to really make sure that's clear right now, of trying to go out of your way to help serve others. And it doesn't mean that you can't do things from time to time for other people, but I think you're really in a time right now where you just need to receive, be surrounded by other people who are very self-regulating and self-honoring, and just really be focused on yourself and what you need right now. And yeah, and I just feel like finding someone who's like in the same energy as you, and like you're both self-honoring about how much energy you have to give, how much you have to receive, and just really honoring that and checking in with yourself about if you have the energy to see that person today or not. But I feel like you're only going to be seeing people who don't require a lot of your own energy to see. So that's also going to be a big game changer, because I do still see, like, when I look at the theme cards, they're still talking about you're still kind of transitioning and moving through a lot of stuff, and you're still kind of like you're on the outer ends of like very deep transformation and some tower moments, which usually means chaos, turbulence, a lot of shit coming to the surface that you didn't expect, and a lot of emotions coming through that are hard to deal with. But it really do feel like you're coming out of the end of it. So you think you're about to move into something more graceful. I don't know if that's quite the right word, but easier, not so chaotic, not so turmoil based. Yeah, so it's just, yeah, it really is talking about just be really gentle and making sure that you're always checking with yourself. And if you have the energy to do the things and you're only hanging out with those who will honor you where you're at. Yeah, and then I kind of want to read some of these cards here. So the listen to your wisdom of your intuition. I really just get that it's saying listen to your inner voice. It has the answers you're seeking, and don't push yourself too far. Really check in. And same with practice self-soothing. You have the power to comfort yourself when you are upset. Place your hand gently on your heart. Send yourself unconditional love to ease tension and frustrations. So once again, I feel like if you're finding you have a lot of anxiety, or you're just like not feeling right, or you're feeling triggered, it's really talking about just remembering your ability to just send love to that part of yourself that's like struggling, and really check in and hold space for it, and process it, and just keep letting it go, like keep releasing all that old stuff. But I think you've already been doing all this. I think you've been doing it for a while. Just reminders for you. So here it says, do not give up your power. Sorry, do not give your power away to anyone. Say to yourself, I am strong and capable. I can approach this situation with confidence and skill. So just a little encouragement to remind you that you're very capable. You aren't, it's so funny, maybe you used to be codependent on someone emotionally. I don't think physically for needs to be met, but maybe emotionally. But I don't think you're there anymore. I really think this pile is a new person, a new human being, basically, from who you were before this transformation and tower moments of your life. Then here it says, remember your gifts, focus on your blessings rather than dwelling on adversity. Pause and give thanks for your gifts, such as your sensitivities, intuition, health, friendships, or family. So yeah, it's like, it really is coming back to like so much more good's coming to your life than bad. So just really keep paying attention to the good, because the bad is like the old way of life for you when you're stepping really into a much more beautiful time. And the spaciousness of air card, I usually feel like this comes up when people have a lot of anxiety or stress, or feel like they're kind of stuck in a corner. This card usually comes up as remembering how much space you have around you. Kind of, it really feels like a meditation or an awareness around how much room you have, how much space you can take up, how not stuck and pinned in a corner you are. And I really find it's also great for people who have like really tight shoulders, of just like really saying like, shake that loose, move your body around, do a little head shake. You know, don't if you're feeling like you're having to condense yourself and you don't have a lot of room in the world, take up more room. You're allowed it. Okay, I'm trying to think what else I want to talk about. I did, for the last pile, read a little affirmation from both of the cards you picked, and maybe I'll do that again. So, oh wow, I almost was at the exact page. So the affirmation for the card you selected this pile for, the Dark Night of the Soul, says, in darkness I can cultivate my light. And its manifestation advice is, reflect on how some of the darkest periods of your life led to some of the most profound changes within you. How those moments led you to deeper understanding, strengths, and or awakenings. Honor yourself for making it through them. Knight yourself. Recognize the sword that you now carry or will soon earn. So it's really talking about just, honor yourself for challenges that you've had, but also reflect on how they allowed you to grow and become the person you are now. So it's almost like honoring the difficulties, because without them, you would be a different person, but also holding space for yourself to be like, yeah, you know what? That was hard. That was hard, but I'm so proud of who I am now and all this good stuff that's coming my way because of how I chose to grow through the situation. And then this card's affirmation is, I surrender to the divine. I feel like that's very fitting for this pile. And its manifestation advice is, it would be wise to continue practicing the release of yourself to spirit. The best way to activate your third eye is to get your mind out of the way. Let yourself get carried away within the magic of every present moment. Try to get through a whole day of not judging, forcing, or overanalyzing anything. If you pay attention, you will be surprised by how much you do. Spirit would rush in if it only had the room to. So interesting. I feel like third eye has been a theme between pile 1 and pile 2. I'm feeling like you're not seeing something clearly, or you're not physically getting visuals when you meditate and being frustrated by it, but it's almost like, just you gotta let that go. Let it go, and then it will come in. It's like that weird irony of the universe, I feel. Okay, so yeah, I know this one was a little shorter, but I just feel like every card just kind of was saying similar thing around things are coming in. You just gotta wait a little because you want them at their highest vibration. You don't want them now just the way they are because they're not aligned yet. You've stepped past that, and now you're like, I only want things that are aligned. So that actually super powerful. Oh, there's a little bug in here. Okay, so we're gonna ding this thing, and I just want you to set the intention to release anything of your choosing. Maybe you just want to get grounded. Maybe you're wanting to release just whatever is not serving you. Yeah, whatever it is. Maybe you just want to call in balance and clearing of your chakras. It's up to you. And I'm gonna do this now. Okay, pile 3. So your card you chose was, It's Okay to Forget and Then Remember All Over Again. And it says The Voyage, Return Home Lessons and Revelations. And then the other card here says, It's Okay, I Don't Know What I'm Doing Either. I always find these cards are so cute. She's just having like a little steam bath in a coffee. So it says, Sweet Oblivion, Uncertainty, Fate, and Humor. Cool. And if you care at all, the card on top is 10 and the number on this one is 40. And we'll look at your cards here. So we have Healthy Lifestyle, Brilliant Ideas, Passion, Overcoming Difficulties. This card's always so interesting because it's a feather and then it turns into a woman's hair and who has wings. But I've always seen this card as a snake for some reason. I don't know why. And then this one says patience. That's interesting. Pile 2 also got a card that said patience on it. Must be a theme for the collective right now. Okay. And you know what? I'll put this up here. I also just really like this card too. Like it makes me think of gardening. I mean, she is gardening. She has her watering can and she's giving water to these plants, but there's like wildflowers, tulips, some bushes, some trees. There's like a little bit of everything going on. It's a really beautiful card. I also like gardening. I like gardening and seeing things grow and have flowers and fruit or vegetable, I guess you could say, or vegetable. Okay. We have actions speak loudly. Honesty is essential. And be in the present and dream of the future. Interesting. These two cards come up a lot together, but this one, however, I don't know if I've ever seen it before. Also, number 40. So that's interesting. You got two 40 cards. Maybe you are recently turning 40 or about to turn 40 or something. I don't know. That number seems personal for some of you. Maybe your hardest moments have been 40 in your 40s, or maybe your, I don't know, greatest moments. Not sure. You let me know. Release your critical voice within. We have options are the lowest, or sorry, opinions, not options. Opinions are the lowest form of knowledge. Oops, that was a mistake to say that way. Restore yourself with alone time. And I like how it's a goddess. That's the sun. Love it. Okay, see your emotions as teachers. I keep misreading the words here. I don't know what's going on. And experience the passion of fire. Reignite your life force by gazing into a cozy fire, recharging in the sunlight, or lighting a candle. Allow fire to spark your vision and vitality. Beautiful. We'll put it over here. Okay, so there's some things going on here. I'm really drawn to the pyramid in this card here, where it says be in the present and dream of the future. I don't know why. It's funny. I feel like there's like Atlantis City, and then there's like some pyramids and some Egyptian stuff, and then there's some starseed things. A lot going on there. I almost wonder maybe this pile's been really diving into past lives, past history, and just like a lot of focus on the past. And maybe this is a little call to just step a little bit more into now, into the future. And although there's a lot of interesting things about the past, maybe your focus has gotten a little too into the past and needs to be a little more grounded in the now. I don't know. Seems to be something there. Okay. What else are we looking at here? Honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. Express your love through actions. I'm not getting a big pull on whether this is your romantic relationships, friendships, family relationships. It is interesting though. Sometimes I get really drawn to the olive branch in this card, and other times you don't even care about it. But I'm really drawn to this and these flowers, and I know they're daisies, but I keep seeing them as chamomile. So I almost wonder if it's saying this. I almost feel like it's saying like offer extended an olive branch to someone you've been a bit hard on. I don't know. I feel like this is like going to be, it could be a very specific message for someone here, but maybe you've been a little hard on a romantic partner, or maybe on a child, or someone in your life where I feel like there must be like a bit of a knowing that they're trying to change. They are working on being a different person. Like I feel like there is signs this person is changing, but they've hurt you in the past. And I feel it's interesting though, because I feel like there's a lot of love from this pile for this other person, but it's like you don't want to get hurt. So you've like made the standards very high for them. And I feel like you would say that you've been a little hard on them. If this doesn't resonate, just leave it. But I feel like there's somebody here where you've been feeling like you've been a bit hard on someone. someone, you're like making them really earn your trust again. And maybe they deserved that way of being treated, but I feel like something within you like I feel this is a message like coming from your subconscious that is kind of like, I feel like um they've more than proven themselves to be a different person now, and reliable and trustworthy. Like they've proven it, and I feel like it's saying like it's okay to extend that olive branch to them. It's okay to trust them a bit more, or let them in a little bit more, and let them know what's going on. Because even here I see, like when I see this guy here wearing a mask and like reaching out, and there's like a little person there, and they're really trying, I feel like it's saying like you're still protecting yourself and guarding yourself. But the thing is you have chosen to keep them in your life. You haven't cut them out, and you had like agreed to give them another chance. There's like this like energy of like, all right, if you're gonna give them another chance and they've done everything you've said and proven themselves to be a different person by the standards that you had set, then maybe it's time to actually start letting them in a little bit. Um, yeah. And it doesn't mean that you have to completely like forgive all their past actions, but it's just saying like, okay, I feel like your heart's been very guarded. It's time to maybe like unguard it a little bit. Because I don't know, I feel like it's really coming from a place like I'm getting the vibe that they have done everything right. So if you're in a situation where they have not done everything right, maybe this person, this romantic relationship is cheating on you, or maybe they're still manipulating you, or something is happening, they're not there for you when you ask, then this obviously isn't the message for you. This is literally coming from someone who's like, I've just felt scared to let them in again. But I feel like this person has, by your definition and standards, done everything you've asked. And I do just want to look up the meaning of chamomile, because it feels oddly important. So let's see. Spiritual meaning of chamomile. Chamomile, if I can remember how to spell that correctly. It says enhances positive energy and bring emotional and spiritual balance. Transform negative energy into positive energy, and is used today for similar reasons. Okay. Joy, positivity, happiness, rest, peace, poise, calmness. So I guess it is a sign of bringing things back into balance and clearing emotional and spiritual imbalances. So that's interesting. Yeah, let's move on to the next thing here. So I'm definitely drawn to these cards here. When I see this brilliant idea card, it usually comes through when it's talking about there's something you've been saying you want to do, but you haven't quite gone through with the action to get it rolling, to get it happening. And the fact that it's right next to the healthy lifestyle says eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. Usually when I see exercise, when the angels are talking, I've never seen them say you need to push yourself cardiovascularly, lift more weights. Usually they're just saying you need more movement in your life. Whether you're just going to dance, you just get up more. If you have a sitting job, like just get up and get outside and walk for like a solid 20 minutes. Just like get out of that room, get out of that office, and just get in connection with the world around you. Move your body. Let things that are stagnant move, because when things sit stagnant, weird things happen. Whether it's tightness in the body or weird energy blocks, it's just good to have more movement. So I really see this as almost like value yourself enough to take care of yourself. Like, I don't know, when I see this, it usually means you've had some ideas about something you want to do or some routine you want to take, but you just haven't taken action for some reason. And I almost feel like there's a lack of motivation in putting time and energy into yourself. So there's an interesting message there. But I do feel like it's worth it. And there's a little healing rod here, which means like it is going to change your health. It is going to change your life. It is going to make you feel better. So that's really interesting. And whatever it is, you already have talked about it and had ideas about it. The passion card, Danielle, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. Interesting. Hey, it's actually talking about passion coming into love life. This card is so interesting. I always find the person in it so fascinating. Like there is just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of color, a lot of fabric, a lot of satin. And you know what's so interesting? I've never seen this come through for this card, but I am getting the impression of it's almost like get yourself dolled up. Is that the expression? Doll yourself up? I don't know. I do feel like this pile is 40 or a little in their 40s. Yeah, got that impression for sure. Why? Because I almost feel like it's like you just got so in routine, and I feel like you've forgotten how to like feel beautiful. And like maybe you just, if you have kids, or if you have pets, or if you're busy, or your job, you always dress a certain way. It's almost like don't forget to like put on the nice clothes and your awesome little trinkets that make you feel good, feel confident in yourself, feel like beautiful, handsome, desirable. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. This goes both ways. Like, just you want to feel good in your body and like look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look good. And even like with her little like headband and her big earrings that are kind of funky, it just tells me like you have like some things that are a bit quirky or spunky that maybe you can't wear at work. Like if you work an office job, maybe you can't wear a shirt that's really tacky but fun, or maybe you can't wear things that really express a lot of personality. You have to wear more of a neutral outfit. It's like saying just remember to like love on yourself and like feel good and remember who you are. If you don't dress the way you want to dress, and maybe not the way that sometimes you have to dress. And if you're like working with kids or young kids and you have young kids, obviously you're maybe not going to wear your nicest clothes because they might pull on them or puke on them, or be playing with finger paint and put their hand on you, painting Easter eggs, you name it. Like there's just a way to get dirty. So I feel like it's just really saying like don't forget to like pay attention to you. And I do feel like you are working on this love relationship. So whether you're trying to rekindle or rework on, or like I feel like this could be like a marriage for some people. And I don't know, for some reason I do feel like they felt like there's a cheating aspect where maybe they emotionally felt betrayed by them, or maybe you just felt like you weren't their top priority and they just were prioritizing work or other things in your life. It's really like, yeah, interesting thing coming on there. So over here we have overcoming difficulties. We have Archangel Jeremiel, and says the worst is now behind you, and you are surmounting any previous challenges. So this is a great card, I feel, for this pile, because I think you are like, at least in the love life, are really trying to like get into the next chapter. You're done with like struggling with not feeling important, not feeling loved, not feeling like you can trust this other person, and you're just ready to, I don't know, have like more in your life, to feel more loved, to be more loving, to feel more supported, to have more connections. You're just really ready to succumb the challenges in your life. Like, and I feel like it's saying like it is coming through. Archangel Jeremiel is sort of like our life reviewer angel, so he talks about um, like big experiences in our lives and lessons we had to learn. So when he comes through and says that you're overcoming it, it means you've learned the lessons. Whatever growth you on some subconscious or conscious level wanted, you've learned, and you're moving past this now into the next chapter, the next set of lessons. As we love to learn lessons in this human world for some reason. Doesn't always make sense at the time, but later it does. Patience. This was that beautiful gardening card where it says your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. So you know what? I really feel like this is talking about like love, romantic relationships, and I just feel like and saying like it's not that you can just not put in any effort, but I feel like they're saying like I feel like you're on a path where things will just keep getting better and better, but just remember that it needs nurturing and quality time. And I feel like communication is a big thing for this pile. Even here where it says speak with love and truth, like honesty is essential, and like being honest about where you're at that day, in that moment, in that circumstance. But like it says, speaking with compassion and love and truth, though. So not being afraid to, I think that's actually a big thing. I wonder if this pile struggled with at first being honest with things they weren't happy with and just feeling like some self limiting issues there. What do I mean by that? Like maybe some social conditionings on like what you should be okay with, what you aren't actually okay with, and I feel like you've really grown. That is like such a big thing. Like even this card here where this person's like sitting in her like space drink there, like it's supposed to be a coffee mug, but it's just like the stars in the universe, and it's like don't really know where I'm going, but I know I'm gonna go somewhere different than I've been. And that's just like, I think that's where you're at, where you're like, I didn't like how I was feeling, I didn't like my life, and I've set higher standards, and now I'm just figuring out more of who I am and what I want to experience. And it's okay to still be figuring it out. And I don't need to know exactly everything I want in the world right now. That's just not realistic. Yeah. So here we have release your critical voice within. So it says when a critical inner voice says I'm not enough or I'm too sensitive, immediately counter it with this is not true. Focus on living thoughts instead. So it's really saying like if you notice yourself saying silly things in your head, like mean things to yourself or things that put yourself down, just correct them. Go, oh, I'm so sorry. That was my old habits. I actually meant this. This is my new story. Like you just correct it. There's nothing wrong with correcting it. That's how you break the habit. Because eventually your subconscious mind will just start saying different things about yourself or about the situation. Because if you correct it, eventually it's just like, oh, this is the new default program. This is the new thing that we believe. So it's neat, but we do just have to be on top of it and not hard on ourselves when we make a mistake. Opinions are the lowest form of knowledge. Do not be thrown off by others' opinions. Simply say, I appreciate your input and do what intuitively feels right for you. I really appreciate this card because I realized that some people just give us so many opinions and judgments. And it used to make me feel like they must know some sort of truth that I'm not seeing. But I actually realized that it is like the lowest form of knowledge. Like opinions and judgments are not really worth much. And usually they make us feel gross. So I really have come to a point in my life where I'm like learning more and more that opinions really don't mean anything. They really don't mean anything. And often people's opinions are spoken without a lot of thought. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes that just helps me think like, oh, they're just quickly answering it. But if they felt deeper into it, maybe they would have realized how insensitive that opinion was or that judgment was, or I don't know. I've just really come to realize that they don't mean much. Restore yourself with alone time. So take a break from the busy world, replenish yourself in the stillness, meditate, stretch, nap, garden. There's 2 gardening cards. I feel like you guys are like me and you like gardening. It's really grounding. I think that's what it is for me. It's grounding and it's really calming. I take a really long time to do it, even though it shouldn't take that long, but I realize I just like doing it. Like I like just moving around some dirt with my hands, and I like looking at my plants that have grown from seeds, and I don't know, I'm always like, wow, it's incredible that you grew from something so small and now you're producing food, and it's crazy that you do that in such a short amount of time, and I don't know, I really enjoy it. Very calming. So maybe you're the same as me in that regard. Yeah, so here it says, do whatever quiet activities your spirit yearns for. So that's like really what it is, right? Whatever your spirit yearns for. Maybe it wants more connection with the earth, so that could be gardening. Maybe it wants more connection with other people, maybe more connection with your romantic partnerships, and just really, reflect on it and then take action. And I think that's where the honesty is coming in. Like I could see this pile being like, I want more connection with my partner and I need support going deeper because I don't feel safe. Maybe you should take like a tantric couples class or something where they just have you do like those uncomfortable things where you look at each other for a long time in each other's eyes, or just exercises where if you weren't guided by a practitioner, maybe you wouldn't feel able to do because they're holding space for you. Okay, so here it says, see your emotions as teachers. Emotions can be vehicles for transformation, whether joyous or challenging. They can teach you how to overcome fear and cultivate compassion. Yeah, and this is the spiral. So the theory is our emotions help us spiral up or a spiral down. But I always see this as more spiraling up. So working through something so we can get out of the circles we're in. So if you have anger, you just need to feel anger for a bit so you can move out of where you are, and then maybe grief, and then maybe joy. And, like there's different layers, but I feel like it helps us move out of where we've been stuck. And a big thing for this pile seems to be about, having like, I feel like you're still a bit in it, but feeling like challenged to, I think it's with partnership. I just feel like that's what I keep getting it around, about love life, and wanting so much more and knowing what you want, but then still being maybe like triggered or defensive with the person you're with. And it just really feels like it's been really hard for you. And you're just maybe a bit tired. You're just tired of it being difficult and you don't really know what to do about it. So it's interesting that it's just saying, just keep honoring yourself, making sure that you're feeling good, and then recognizing, I think it's really powerful to recognize that you are struggling to open up, and I feel like you want to. So sometimes even just hearing someone say that can help a little bit. But I don't know, I really do feel like there is like some brilliant idea about some things about your health and maybe your relationship you've been thinking about, and I would just take this as a confirmation to act on that and do that. So I kind of got the impression, that maybe it would be some sort of commitment to an activity with your partner. So it could be like a tantric couples class, it could be like maybe some dance classes, like breaking the barrier. But I think the big thing here is that you don't want to be the one having to hold space for the whole relationship. We want to get you in a place where someone else is holding space for you two to connect. It's not all on you or all on the other person. Someone else is kind of holding the space and guiding you through it. That feels like it takes a lot of pressure off of you. So any kind of course, class, thing like that, I think, and I think it should be something fun. Like I know tantric maybe isn't always fun, but I feel like that would be good because it helps you go deeper and feel more like open. It kind of teaches you to feel safe and okay being more open, and more vulnerable. But then the other, like dance classes and stuff, I think it's more about just experiencing some joy, because I think there's been a lot of seriousness and hardship in the relationship lately. So it's just like you both need a good laugh and not to be focused so much on the mistakes of the past. So I am going to read just the affirmations for these cards you chose the pile with. So number 10 here, the first card that says it's okay to forget and then remember. It says, for an affirmation, I am remembering a lesson of my soul and I am returning home. And its manifestation suggestion for you is light a candle, grab your journal, put your hand on your heart, and connect with spirit about what your current lesson is. If you already know what it could be, if you're not sure yet. Sorry, they have brackets. I was confused about how I should read that. So spirit, it says to light a candle, grab your journal, put your hand on your heart, and connect with or what could be. Ask for signs. There are clues you can unravel if you start fluidly writing or looking for patterns. What areas of your life feel misaligned to you? Okay, I feel like this person's wording was a little bit choppy there, but the thing they're trying to convey is that if you just ask yourself a question about, you ask your body and you connect in with your body, you ask, what is the current lesson you're trying to learn? And then you just write whatever comes to your mind. And at first it might just be a bunch of like kind of noise, but eventually you will get deeper and deeper. And then you'll hopefully, one, release some stuff, some emotion, but also you'll see what's going on deeper within yourself. Because I find some of us have some clever protectors in us, like who kind of hide what's going on from ourselves, and it can be a little harder to like get to the root of it if we're just asking So sometimes it's kind of like that cheat. Like sometimes you need someone to hold space for you to get to it, to get to the root. And sometimes we can just like write a bunch of stuff so we can get out all the ego protector stuff and then we get to the root of it. Hopefully that makes sense. I guess if you do it, you'll see. So it says to ask for signs. There are clues you can unravel if you start fluidly writing or looking for patterns. What areas of your life feel misaligned to you? Why? Think back to a point when you felt more aligned and alive. What was it? What were you doing? How were you being? Where was your focus? And let it all out on the page or sit and meditate about it silently with yourself. So it's really just giving you some prompting questions to ask deeper things about realizing what was going on when you were at your happiest. Have you ever felt happy? And then maybe that's even something to reflect on, and why not? Because the why is important. There would be the deeper root problem there. Okay, and then 40, the card number 40. Okay, its affirmation is, I am freely floating amid the beautiful cosmos. And it's all about seeking into the unknown, trusting your own free will in combination with fate, sorry, not face. And sometimes it is okay to be lost and have no answers. And sometimes the best adventures happen when we don't know where we're going. Sometimes the greatest love is found when we aren't looking for it. And such is the power of destiny. Ironic humor, the great contradictions. There is a choice to be made when we are floating amid the great expanse of the cosmos. Will we choose freedom or will we choose fear? One empowers while the other disempowers. It's actually a really good point. So I even feel like with this feeling like, are you open to the vulnerability of letting someone in, of giving them that chance fully and like opening your heart up? Because I think verbally, like I said, you've given them the chance, but I don't think you've like opened your heart to it yet. I think you've still been very guarded. So it's almost like, will you choose which way? You can keep doing what you're doing, but it might be from fear, or you can try and ask for more and let it in. But it's really up to you. And that's really what it's saying. Like, it's so up to you. You choose what you want. No one can make you do anything else. And then the manifestation suggestion for this card is, notice the ways in which you feel you are missing something that others have. Or when you feel everybody else knows something you don't, reassure yourself kindly when you recognize them. Deeply breathe and affirm to yourself, it's okay. Nobody really knows what they are doing. Take your life day by day, step by step, and trust the journey, just as the hero does. Well, and there's an interesting picture on the back, hey? Kind of makes me think of a uterus. The two ovaries. Interesting. Menstruation has come up a few times in this card pile, so sorry if you are a man and are like, what is up with that? I don't know. It doesn't usually come out in my card readings very much. Okay. You know what? So I'm going to play the pyramid and I'll just let you clear your ground, release anything you want to release before I let you go. It's really up to you. You just offer it what you want cleared. And I was saying to pile 2 is that Archangel Metatron came through and said it wanted, I guess I say it, he/she, because it's debated, would like to work with the pyramid because it works. I feel like I should just say he. Most people see him as he, and it seems kind of disrespectful to call something an it. So we'll say he. Said he likes to work with sacred geometry, and he said he wanted to work with the pyramid. So from now on, I guess, when I use the pyramid, it won't just be the green ray of healing that works with the pyramid shape, but also Archangel Metatron. So that's great. He's really great at clearing out all of our chakras and our auras. So anyways, you set your intention, and I'm gonna play this pyramid now.